when I have a sales manager say, man, I can't believe there's no decent talent out there. I keep hiring people and I keep firing people. And I go, hold it. You know what? You're the problem. I hate to say it, you are the problem. There's so much fake stuff out there, so much noise out there. And people are just tired. Customers are exhausted. Customers are tired. They've had so much thrown at them for so long, they just can't handle it anymore. The relationship is more important than ever. That's the essence of what integrity first selling. It's about creating authentic relationships that customers value and appreciate. I don't close a deal. I open a relationship. I open a relationship. Before I know it, the head guy in the company is calling me on the phone. And he goes, Mark, I've got this contract in front of me, and it's for way too much money. How much will you cut it by? Literally, that's how he started the conversation. How much will you cut it by? And my response, I still remember my response to this day. I said, can't cut the price. All we can do is change the value of what you're going to get from it. And he goes,
hey team, this week we are very lucky. I always say this every single week. We are very lucky because my guest today needs very little introduction because he's actually earned it. And his name's Mark Hunter. He's kind of known by the sort of savage term, don't know if he gave it to himself, the sales hunter. And he's 30 years of experience helping salespeople and organizations stop making excuses and making contact. He's the author of 3 very big best-selling books, the ones that sit on my bookshelf, amongst some esteemed company, High Profit Selling, High Profit Prospecting, and A Mind for Sales. He's also got a new book that we're going to talk about today. And he's spoken in more than 30 countries. He's been inducted. He's a Sales Hall of Famer. And what I love about Mark and what I've learned and listened to you, Mark, is you don't just teach sales. You talk about the mindset behind sales, which we'll really want to dig into today. So super lucky to have you, Mark. Welcome to our little show.
hey, thank you. It's not so little. We are going worldwide. Everybody can capture our show.
Well, hey, in rural, we're humble. We're humble, humility.
But you know what? To be well respected locally, you got to be known globally. So you're known globally.
Yes, exactly. It's very much the case in New Zealand. You have to be famous offshore to be capable. We have this thing called tall poppy syndrome, Mark. You know, if you get a bit too big for your boots, you got to cut your teeth offshore to be taken busy onshore. We can be some hard scores. Now, just fun facts for everyone. You're based in Omaha in Nebraska.
Well, I've actually moved. Moved. I'm in Dallas, Texas now.
Okay, cool. So you're in Texas now, but you used to be in Omaha, and I was in. Yes. We were having a bit of fun just before you came on, and I said, you know, are you the oracle of Omaha for sales? And you said, well, actually, the big B, Warren Buffett used to live just down the road from you. Is that right?
That is correct. It was about 7 kilometers, but he lived right down the street.
Is that house that he still lives in?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. It's the exact same house. Over the years, a little more security has gone up around it in terms of a fence and so forth. Yeah. But it's the exact same house. He has a very same pattern of travel. And I mean, he's very routine focused. And he is just a Joe average person. Yeah.
Amazing. And does he still have his Volkswagen Beetle or the car that he's been driving for?
He may have that Volkswagen still, but currently he's driving a new Cadillac. And now again, he tends to buy a new car every 5 or 6 years, but he doesn't drive it much because he drives. His office is on the same street. It's literally just down the street.
Farnham Street.
Yes. He right on Farnham Street. Yeah. And so he maybe puts 5,000-6,000 kilometers on his car, and then he auctions it off and gives the money to charity. So he just kind of routinely, Yeah.
What a guy. Hey, just last thing on that. Have you been to any of his amazing AGMs? Or have you?
Oh, yes. Oh, his meeting.
Can you just describe to listeners what the hell is Berkshire Hathaway AGM? Because it's like a rock concert. Like it's sort of. How many people attend these things, Mark?
Well, at its peak, it was about 40,000 people.
Insane.
40,000
for an AGM.
Yes, and to listen to 2 guys. Now, Charlie Munger passed away 2 years ago.
Sad.
But just to see Charlie and Warren sitting at a table taking questions for hours on end, and it was that. But they had the cherry Coke. You know, he always
they always had their Coca-Cola because that was their shareholders.
And they got the Mrs. C's peanut brittle right there. And there'd always be bets. On one, when will Charlie Munger speak for the first time? And 2, And two, how long will it take for them to have some of that C's peanut butter?
I love it. I love it because didn't they have a cardboard cutout of Charlie Munger once? So like we do.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. It is as homespun. I remember sitting, because you think about this, 40,000 people, and they do break for lunch, and that means you got about 40,000 box lunches being served. I mean, they just literally give these box lunches away.
Amazing.
And I'm sitting outside on a curb on the street, and some people around me talking, and this gentleman is there, and he gets up and he walks away, and somebody says, "You know who that was? That was Bill Gates's dad." I mean, and he's just sitting on a curb right next to me, just having his box lunch.
Amazing.
I mean, an amazing experience.
I mean, I'm a big fan of Charlie Munger as well, and I listen to Shane Parris's Knowledge Project podcast. He's an amazingly good podcast. I think that's one of the best. Man, he's so good. We'd love to get him on the podcast one day. So if you know him, give him a tickle from us. So Mark, my friend, let's talk about. Can we get straight into it? You are a seasoned vet, and I say that with huge respect and affection. Mindset. Let's talk about the mindset behind sales. Now, what is it? How would you describe it? Have you taught it over the decades? Like, what are you looking for? What is it actually all about? Because it's one of those terms that's trotted out a lot, but what does it actually mean?
There's two things that are absolutely you have to have, and that is this optimistic mindset. I don't have it in front of me. It happens to be sitting in the other part of my office. But every morning I have a little notebook where I write down 10 things I'm grateful for. 10 things I'm grateful for. And I do that very intentionally just to begin shaping my brain to be thankful, to be absolutely thankful and appreciative. With the one focus, and this is where the mindset's so critical. Your goal is to help others see and achieve what they did not think was possible. And if you just focus on other people, it is amazing how it changes your own mindset. It is amazing at how it changes, sales. Oh, it's so ugly and dark. And I had problems at first. I had real problems at first with sales because I didn't realize it was about serving people. I thought it was just about taking money. No, not at all. Not at all. It's serving people. And when you serve people and you truly help them, it's amazing at what can happen. That's, and to me, that's the mental mindset. But it starts off by writing down on a piece of paper 10 things you're grateful for. And here's why. It is so easy for us to have our mindset go to the dark side. We're going to the dark side. All we're going to do is, stop. It doesn't matter how your life is going. There's things to be thankful for. I have written down on that list sometimes that I'm thankful that my wife's car has got tires with the right tire pressure in them. I mean, you just write down, but it's amazing at how it just changes.
Reframes your brain, rewires the brain.
It rewires the brain.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I look back at all the people I've had a chance to talk to, and I go, that was incredible. And my goal, if I can just leave each person I talk to in a little better state, I've done my job.
Yeah. Well said. Yeah. I love this concept you talked about. I've monikered it. I haven't trademarked it. It's pretty cute, but it sounds right because it is right. Because the right thing to do is the right thing to do. Is you serve to sell. And
yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and I think what you're talking about there, Mark, is like your purpose is there to help others, not help yourself. And I think that's where we get things mixed up in sales, right?
It is where we get mixed up. And when you put the other person first, Zig Ziglar, he passed away years ago, but he used to have the best way to achieve your goals is to help others achieve their goals. Yeah. And that's easy for people to sit there and say, but when times get tough, it's hard. But here's the whole thing. If we invest in other people, it is amazing at the return on that investment.
Yeah.
And the challenge is, are we investing enough? And I don't think we can invest enough in other people.
No.
I mean, my wife will say, oh, I'm going to have breakfast with somebody. I'm just going to meet with them, just going to, share with them some ideas. And my wife sometimes chastises me. You do too much of that. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Yeah, I mean, she says that lovingly because she knows that's what I love to do. Yeah, and it does. And ultimately, somewhere down the road, it just works out that business is created.
I couldn't believe more. I mean, and think about you, how many books you've sold. You come onto a little podcast like, and you've been so kind about that. But I always think that generosity is your best strategy.
Without a doubt. I mean, you can't be too generous. And again, because what this does is it plays with the mindset. Because here's the other thing. We have to look at life from abundance, not from scarcity. And when you're totally focused on generosity, that's abundance. But when you start saying, no, I can't do that, I can't help them, I can't, the bubble begins contracting. It gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And you begin living inside of you. And that's a terrible place to live. It's just not going to work. Yeah.
No. And it's, we can talk about scarcity mindset or abundance mindset, but I do believe, without being woo-woo, the more you give out, the more you get back. I mean, some of my biggest deals, Mark, have taken years. And there's been a weekly email from me, and it's taken years to turn up. But because you were consistently giving before receiving, you earned the right to have that conversation.
Oh, so true. A measurement I always tell salespeople is, what % of your business is coming to you by way of repeat business or referral business? Because this is a measurement of how good you are. Yeah. Over a period of time, years and years, your percentage of business that you get by way of referrals and repeat business should be quite high. And if it isn't, then something's wrong. And by the way, if it isn't, you're probably not in sales anymore. Yeah.
No, totally agree. I think it's a really healthy KPI that you could track. Now, let's talk about, if we could, rejection, loss. We're still talking the mindset camp here, but how do you coach people to bounce back from, what is a very predictable thing? You're on the front line in sales, whatever you're selling, whether you're selling tractors, fertilizer, feed, seed, agri-tech in my world, or your pharmaceutical, your medical, your FMCG, you've trained them all. What's some of the nuggets you've got for people to bounce back and resilience and knockbacks and self-sabotage? I'm being very greedy there with my question.
Yeah. We could talk for an hour and a half on this one, right here. First of all, here's the thing. The valley that you may find yourself in is never as deep and dark as you think it is, just as the mountaintop is never as high. And it's amazing. The sun is still going to come up in the morning. The sun will still come up in the morning.
Correct.
You may lose a deal today. And believe me, I lose more deals than I win. That's called sales. It's called sales. I mean, but what you look at is this, is at least I had the opportunity to be in the game. At least I had the opportunity to be able to get that far. Now, I have found so many times that I have had a no, just to have them come back a year or two later and I get the yes. I had this just a few weeks ago. I was speaking in the Philippines, and that came about because the year earlier, I got a no. But then a year passes by and suddenly I get the yes. Right. Yeah. So you have to remember, first of all, a no, a rejection is only a moment in time. Keep in mind that. Always remember, it's only a moment in time. 2, so many times in sales, the next opportunity just suddenly, boom, pops on the scene. Isn't it amazing how sometimes that phone rings or we get an email, we get some, and wow. So guess what? You may have lost one, but you know what? You never know when the next phone call you make, the next email you send is going to result in an opportunity. And that's where you have to stay in the game. What I find is this. Salespeople get themselves, there's no business out there. There's no business out there. And I go, well, are you doing anything to create business? Because if you're waiting for business to come to you, you're just a rain barrel. And all you're doing is capturing the rain right there over the barrel. You got to be a rainmaker. If you want the phone to ring, you've got to pick it up and make the first phone call. If you want to start getting business, you got to be. And the more touches, the more contacts you have, the more you're helping people. It is amazing. You raise your visibility, you raise your presence, and it means the more conversations you're having. The more conversations you're having, the more insights you're getting, the more knowledge you're having. Just this morning, I was having breakfast with a gentleman, and I was just coaching him, giving him some ideas, and great.
And your wife was okay with that? My wife was okay with that, Mark?
Well, it was funny because she asked him, but she knew the person. She said, "Oh, make sure you tell him hi for me." Okay, so anyway, it was great, yeah, and it was absolutely fascinating. But he said, "By the way, I'm going to have to go by a certain time because I'm going to meet this other person." I said, "Oh, I know her. Tell her hi for me." And you know what's interesting? I'm sure he walked into her office, sat down, and said, "Oh, by the way, I just had breakfast with Mark." He says, "Say hi." And I have a feeling that Mark's such a great guy. Now, I have no idea where that can go. But you know what? You just do that dance, and you just play yourself into enough situations, not egotistical, not being arrogant. "Oh, I'm the best. Just serving others, helping others. It is amazing at how things will happen. In fact, I got to tell you, I have a definition. I want everyone to have an ego. Now, it's not what you think it is. It's EGO. Thank goodness we all speak English. Empowering greater outcomes. That's what we need to be doing every day with people who we come in contact with. When I get done here, I'm going to have dinner tonight with a gentleman who happens to be in town. And again, my wife is going to say, "Why are you meeting with him?" "Oh, I don't know. He called me up and he's in town and wants to have dinner with me." Great.
Why not?
My objective is to empower greater outcomes in him. Now, again, I don't say that arrogantly. I want to be able to learn something from him. And this is the other thing. When I have the right mindset, this abundant mindset, it's amazing at what I learn. Top performing people never go into any conversation, any meeting, without knowing there's something they're going to learn. Stop and think about that. There's something they are going to learn. In fact, I got to share with you because we were talking about Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger. Yeah. I'll never forget, there was an interview with Charlie Munger about 10 years ago. Okay, so he was probably like 90 years of age at the time. And the person asked Charlie Munger what books he was reading. And he said that he was reading a couple books on electrical engineering. And the person looked at him and said, "What? Charlie, you're like 90 years of age. What are you reading books on electrical engineering?" And he said, "Well, I just have never, I just don't think I know enough about it. So I thought I better read." Now stop and think about that. That's a gentleman like 90 years of age. He could pass it. "You know what? I'm done. I'm done reading. I'm done learning. It's time for me to enjoy life." He was enjoying life by reading, by learning.
Yeah. No, they said his children, forgive me to jump in, but his children described him when I read Poor Charlie's Almanac, which is a hell of a book. Like if anyone's going to burgle your house, you just knock them over the head with that, hypothetically, of course. It's a big book, and the mental models and everything else. And he said his children said he was like a walking book.
Yes.
Like a book with two legs. Do you remember that? And there's all pictures of him throughout it with him literally reading a book. But what you're saying there, it's a bit like Peter Drucker and others, like lifelong learners. And I think the point you're making here, which is so good to remind everyone, is you have to be insatiably curious. You've got to, and I think what you're saying, Mark, is whether you're having breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and you're definitely a never eat alone guy. But like when you go and have your dinner tonight with your gentleman, you've got the mindset that you're going to learn something, and it's an opportunity, right? And I think this is why you've got such good energy as well, because you're just like insatiably curious.
This is the whole thing, and one of the things that when I go meet with this gentleman, hopefully there's going to be somebody that as we have a conversation, "You know what? I need to introduce you to this person."
Yeah.
And he'll probably say, "Hey, there's somebody I need to introduce you to." Great. And again, it's just creating this bigger circle. And you know what? That's a sales call. That is a sales call because I'm serving other people. When we serve other people, it is amazing how it just changes our own thinking.
I think
I know we got to put food on the table. We got to sell. But you know what? Somehow it always takes care. There's an opportunity. And this whole thing, don't think for a moment that what you sell is not important. Because here's the whole thing. And this is what I tell salespeople who are struggling. They say, well, if we just had a better product, if we just had lower prices, if we just had this. And I say, stop. It's not what you sell that matters. It's the outcome you create. It's the outcome you create. That's what's it. Yesterday, I made a major purchase. And it's interesting, but I'm kind of going through it a little bit. It was a big online program I bought. And there's some things that are disappointing. But you know what, though? I didn't buy it for the product. I bought it for the outcome I'm going to achieve. That's why I bought it, the outcome. And we have to help our customers understand what is the outcome that they're looking for. That's what we're going to help them achieve. And when we do that, I think that changes our mindset. That changes our whole frame of reference. It's not about price. Price is totally irrelevant. Price is again, back to Zig Ziglar, it is a one-time experience. Value is a lifetime. I probably messed up that quote a little bit.
No, you've done very well. Could I just help me out here? So my guys and girls are driving up farmers' driveways. They sell commodity products. And they might go, oh, we love this guy. He's got great energy and I'm loving this advice. But then they go, but hold on, like price is everything to our farmers because obviously crop failure or yield or tariffs or climate or hail damage on corn or beans or whatever it is, wherever you are in the world. And they say, hey, hold on, Mark, like price is really important. So I'd love to get your advice on how would you coach them or what would you say to them when, you know, that farmers get very hung up on commodities? You know, obviously, because I obviously train this sector, I understand it well. I think what you might say, and forgive me if I'm being presumptuous here, is it's not just what you sell, but it's how you sell it, which links into your outcome. And I sometimes think, tell me if I've got this hypothesis right or wrong, Mark, because I'm really interested in your advice on this, is actually sometimes the most important part of the sales process is the salesperson, not the product that they sell. What are your thoughts on that? Because you know commodities and fertilizer and seed, it's tough. Yeah. It is cutthroat, and the farmers treat you the same and muck you around and shop around and phone around. What are your thoughts?
Very, very much so. Very much so. And I used to be in the commodity business, so I can understand. It is you. It is absolutely you. Now, here's what I found. You can't be 30, 40, 50% higher. You can't be. No, but I'll tell you what, as long as you're in the ballpark, you can absolutely achieve that sale. Why? Because of the outcome you're going to help them with. And this is what it comes back to when I talk about commodity sellers. I want to look at the total cost of ownership, the total cost. In other words, the seed. We'll just say it's the seed. So ultimately, it's going to come down to the yield. It's going to come down to the yield. But to get that yield, there's a lot of different components. The right amount of moisture, when we put the moisture in the ground, the fertilizer, et cetera, et cetera. If I can help you, which is one little piece of information, one little insight, I can probably dramatically change your yield, which changes the total cost of ownership. That changes it. Suddenly that seed that you're paying X for is now returning X times 12 versus X times 11.
Yes.
And this is the value I bring. And you have to be in this focus of saying, if I'm dealing with a farmer, what is the information I can share with them? What are some insights that I can help them understand? They're going to help them. It may be something as simple as, here's something you need to look at in terms of soil preparation. Here's something you need to look at in terms of the amount of water you put down, when you water, when you choose not to water, how to use the forecast, the weather forecast to your advantage. Sharing with them those types of things, that's going to allow you to be seen differently. Because at the end of the day, you're not a commodity. You are not a commodity. I'm not a commodity. I got to leverage that with every customer I come in contact with.
That is such good advice. And you just absolutely stood up to the plate there for me, because there's a question they asked. Now, Mark, you talked about, I know you had a list in High Prospect High Profit Prospecting, this beautiful yellow book that everyone needs to get, and we'll talk about the other ones as well, is you gave a list of the attributes or the traits you look for in top performing sales reps. And we'll call them affectionately top performing sales reps. For you, if you could have a top 3, not a top 10, so we don't blow people's minds, because most people can only remember 3 or 5 things. I've got a law of 3 or 5. Maybe it's just me and my small mind and my short-term memory. But what are the top 3 things, if you could choose them, you've got to see in a salesperson for them to be successful and really kick on and make a great career in sales?
Yeah, 3 things that I look for is how do they start the day? How do they start the day? I'm absolutely wired in on this, because here's what I found. How you start the day determines how the rest of your day begins. So I'll ask people, how do you start the day? And top performing people always have a very precise way they start the day, because they're very routine focused. See? And I'm looking at a high producer to have a very routine focused person. So that's one. Second thing that I'm looking for is I want to understand what is their level of curiosity. How do they probe for curiosity? And with that takes me to the third person, to the third trait, and that is, how do they serve people? Share with me some examples as to how you serve others, where you've put other people first. I'll never forget, I was getting ready to speak at a major event, and I was walking into the big convention center in the United States, and I was walking in, and a couple meters behind me were a couple ladies, and I just stood there and I just held the door open for them. I said, "Good morning, welcome." Walked in, did not think anything of it. It happened to be the chairman of the board's wife and the president's wife that I held the door open. And when the president of the company introduced me, he told that story. Amazing. He said, "This is a person who," and I didn't know who these ladies were. I just was holding it anyway.
You do it anyway.
Right. I would have done that for anybody. I would have done that for anybody. Correct. And it was interesting, but so many times when I'm looking for a top performing person, I want to see the same behavior away from sales as they exhibit when they're in sales. Because it's why I say that sales is not a job, it's not a profession, it's a lifestyle. It's just serving others. It's just serving others. And when you do that, again, it just changes your mindset. It just frames things up differently. Yeah.
Amazing. So when you take, so if I'm getting this right, the hothouse effect of a traditional interview, you and I both know that salespeople are very persuasive and they can sell very, very well. How do you break that how do you break down the, we'll be kind here, the facade, the veneer, the self-presenting? How do you take them out of that environment? Do you take them to dinner? What do you do with them?
Yes. You've got to take them out to dinner. You got to take them out to dinner, take them out for a drink, coffee, something. I want to see them, how they behave away from the office, because as soon as you get people in a relaxed state, then you begin to see their real behavior. Then you begin to see, and that I am looking for that very, very astutely. It's incredibly important because that helps me really see how you're going to behave. And then what I'm looking for is, I'm just looking for, how do you present yourself? Because so much of sales is about just showing up. It's just simply showing up, right?
100%.
And if they can't show up right, when they're supposedly in an interview, how are they going to show up? And this comes back to the manager. What's interesting is, this is really scary. Our salespeople behave just like their manager behaves.
Just like kids and parents. I'm so glad we're going here, Mark. Please continue.
It is. I mean, when the sales manager shows up late for the sales call, shows up late for the weekly sales meeting, shows up late, or doesn't have an agenda, isn't organized, what's that tell the salespeople? They can do the same thing. They can sit there and show up late too. And that it just, again, when the sales manager is talking to a salesperson and talking about other salespeople in a negative term, what does that tell that salesperson? Whoa, I wonder what he's saying about me to other people.
When I'm not in the room. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it is amazing. Top performing sales managers are very comfortable hiring top performing salespeople. Oh, by the way, those are the only people that top performing salespeople want to work for. Does a top performing salesperson want to go to work for a B manager?
No way.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just such a correlation. It seems so obvious when you say it. So when you talk about manager stuff, I've asked you about the 3 traits for reps, or give me the manager. Is it the same or is it different? What's your list?
Well, yes, it's very, very much the same. But here's the whole thing. Are you, as a manager, willing to understand what it takes to motivate each individual person? Here's the whole thing. Now, first of all, I do not believe that a manager can motivate anyone. I really don't. All they can do is create an environment for the person to motivate themselves. So for instance, you may have a person who is very comfortable working by themselves. In fact, they really prefer, and that's how they excel, and they're capable. Then you've got to just kind of say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and back off. You may have another person who absolutely, they got to hear every day, how, am I doing okay? Am I doing okay? Then you need to...
The ones that call you 5 or 7 times a day.
Right. They need to, Now, you need to train them. You need to coach them that, no, you can make the decision without me, But I am looking for them to share with me examples as to how they have dealt with people of different, who are motivated different manner. Now, this does not mean I have different policies. No. I have the same set of policies across the entire organization. I have the same set of expectations. If these reports are due Friday at 5 o'clock, I don't care who it is. It's due at Friday at 5 o'clock. I mean, I don't make an exception to that.
Correct.
But I am fully willing to sit there and say that I may have to do things differently. And that's okay. That's okay. Mm-hmm. To draw. Isn't it amazing? We see this in any sport, that a player can be on one team and just not perform well. But they go to another team, different coach, and suddenly they excel.
100%.
What happened? Well,
it was the environment. It was the environment and the coaching environment. We talk about the All Blacks here. They're very deliberate about the environmental design. They sweep their own sheds.
Yes. Yes.
No one carries their bags. No one carries the bags off the. So that's exactly what you talk about here, Mark. The standards.
It's absolutely crazy. When I have a sales manager say, "Man, I can't believe there's no decent talent out there. I keep hiring people and I keep firing people.
So much."
And I go, "Hold it. You know what? You're the problem." I say it. You are the problem. Yeah.
Hold the mirror. Hold that mirror.
It's kind of interesting. Yeah. And so it is amazing how organizations are miniature ecosystems. I mean, they really are. And they very quickly take on the style and the feel of the people they report to. And it's all the way down from, whether you call it the managing director, the CEO, on down. It's the exact same thing. It is amazing.
I'm so glad we went there, because I always say to my rural sales managers that I have the privilege of coaching, I say to them, you think you're doing the appraising, you're being appraised all the time. They're being watched, and it's like your children. They watch you and they see you and they sponge and they go, role play. So if you curse or you're angry or you're talk badly to people or you're not polite to the street work or the supermarket checkout lady, it's just gonna come through in your own kids and that entitlement, that spoiled behavior. Why is it, Mark, that I think I know the answer, but why is it that often managers, you just said something brilliant there about, I cannot find good people, we're always turning over, and you say it's you. What happens when your coaching managers, which you've done way more than me, and they go, Look, I think, and they just keep diverting to the team. They keep diverting to the team. They say, no, I want to talk about my team. What I want to do. How do you handle that kind of conversation? Because I think you know what's going on there.
Oh, I do. This is why when I'm called to work with a team, I first work with the managers. I'm absolutely insistent. I work with the managers first. Because if you can't change the managers, there's no way. When I hear an organization say, wow, I want you to come in and I want you to work with our salespeople, I say, okay, will you participate? No, we don't have time. And it's not needed for us. That's when I say, whoa, guess what? It is. Hello.
Yeah. 100%.
You have to be able to replicate and duplicate everything that is expected of the people you lead. Because at the end of the day, the mark of a good leader is what happens when they're not present.
Yes.
You know? I mean, now I totally, hey, I'm not expecting you to leave for weeks or months on end. No, but I mean, if you're gone for a few days, or a week or so, and the organization's doing great, then you know what? You've done a good job.
Yeah.
It's not that you're not needed. No, you're very much needed because you were able to develop the team to a level that they don't need you. That's, so many managers want to feel like they're needed. They want to be in on every decision. They want to come in and close every sale, right?
The white knight syndrome.
Oh yeah, they want to be the white knight. They want to be the one. Yes,
I can do the deal. Hold on, but you're a manager. You've got that flexibility. I haven't. I know it just demotivates the team massively.
Oh, it tells the team that all they are is delivery drivers.
Yeah.
100%. I mean that's. I want managers to be opening doors. I want managers because managers can have meetings, can get meetings in companies, with potential customers that the salesperson may not be able to get because the manager's got the title.
Yeah.
And also the manager can many times ask questions and get different answers than the salesperson would get.
So true.
Just based off of their position, just based off what they are. That is huge. That's the job. When I love asking sales managers, show me your travel schedule. Show me what your schedule was for the last quarter.
Oh, I love it. I know exactly where you're going, sir. Yeah.
You know where I'm going, and they say, "Oh man, but last 2-3 weeks of every quarter, I'm on the road every day." Oh, where are you at the first month? Well, that's when I'm in the office. No, that's when I want you out. That's when I want you out, opening doors, creating opportunities. If all you do is come in and close, this is why salespeople don't like you.
Yeah.
Because wait a minute, they spend all this time getting this deal, and suddenly you're going to come in and be that knight, that white knight in shining armor. No, you're the dark knight on a horse that I want to topple.
Yes, well said. Well said. So managers, I think. Show me your diary and I'll show you your life, and you talked about when you look at high performers, Mark, you want to see that they're very, they've got really specific routines, the magic morning that L. Harrod talks about, the miracle morning from Hal Elrod, one of my books up here, and then the curiosity and the serving others. When it comes to the manager, the ability to take the time, because I often say to them, show me a diary and tell me when you last did a self-observation or truck time or windshield time out in the territory. Oh yeah, I've been so busy. And these spreadsheet managers that manage from an ivory tower or behind a desk, if you can see the video here, guys, for guys that are seeing this, like Mark's just shaking his head here because it's like, it's a letdown. It's a massive letdown. And the analogy I use, Mark, is you watch the game live. You don't watch the edited highlights because the highlights are obviously distorted. So get out there, be with your team. And if you don't have time, I've asked several people like Todd Caponi and amazing guys like you, they often say, I'm sure you'd be the same, if you're not making time for your team, you probably need to think about another job.
That without a doubt. And too many managers, I like to call it, they're a spreadsheet jockey. They create all these spreadsheets and all they do is manage the business. Now, numbers are important, but here's what I will tell you. Just because it can be measured doesn't mean it should be measured.
Yeah.
And just because it's easy to measure doesn't mean it should be measured. I think a lot of companies, we go through these phases in society. And sadly, because of technology and so forth, we're in this phase where we want to measure everything. We want to measure everything. How many squares of toilet paper people are using? I want to keep the metrics on what's producing revenue. What is producing revenue?
Yeah.
And a metric that I love to measure is what I call CFT, customer facing time. I talk about it in my book, A Mind for Sales. And this is the amount of time that customers and the salesperson are communicating, whether it be in person, whether it be online, whether it be in an active chat conversation on, some sort of message, WhatsApp or something, but it's CFT. And then I love breaking down CFT two ways, because there's CFT with existing customers and CFT with new customers. I love this one because here's what I find. A lot of salespeople, I spend all day with customers. Yeah, you're with the same customer every other day you go by to see them.
I just love this. I love this. We call them milkman salesmen.
Yes, they got the milk run. They've got the milk run. It's Tuesday at 10 o'clock. This is where I got to be. This is where I got to be.
And they defend and they go, yeah, but if I go and prospect for more customers, I can't look after my system. That is weak language, and that's
an excuse.
Or my territory's too big. Or okay, let's do it one hoof at a time.
That's I'm not asking you to give up existing customers. I'm just saying, hey, make time for one prospecting call. 1, 2. I say that one of the best sales books is Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Great book.
Because so much of sales is just routine focus. It's just routine focused. I have in my own business, the one metric that I measure is, am I having 5 conversations a day? Am I having 5 conversations a day with people who can buy from me, people who are buying from me, or people who could refer me? I know my calendar will remain full. Now, to get to that, there's a lot of emails that I got to do and a lot of voicemail, et cetera. But I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at just 5. If I have just 5 conversations a day, I know my business is good.
It's a compound effect. It's such a brilliant book.
It
Could
is.
I ask, just as a divert, but it's a relevant one, what are your routines? You've talked about the 5 conversations a day. Take us through a day of Mark Hunter.
Yes.
You work, you open up opportunities, you're insatiable, you want to learn beautiful, beautiful things. What's your day look like? What does a Mark Hunter day look like?
Great. I'm always up at least 2 hours before my first meeting, period. Okay?
Yeah.
And always. So I tend to get up at 5 a.m. every morning, or a little bit before 5. Sure. First thing I do is, of course, start the coffee. Okay, that's important.
Start the coffee machine. Yeah.
I drink water and then I exercise, and I have a very hard exercise routine. I mean, it's hard. It's not hard, but it gets me going.
Yeah. Cool.
And if the weather's decent, I'll get outside and run for a bit.
Awesome.
Then I'm coming back and I'm sitting down and I spend time looking at my goals and objectives. In other words, on my iPad, these are my big, hairy, audacious goals. Here's the things. And I'm just, this is my mission statement. This is what I'm doing. Then I'm quickly looking at my calendar, seeing who are the people I'm going to be coming in contact with. Then now it's time to sit there and write those 10 things I'm thankful for. Then I spend a little bit of time meditating. I just stop and meditate. And that whole process takes me about an hour and 15 minutes, hour and 20 minutes. And then I can get in the shower, and I don't consume myself with looking at email first thing, looking at different sites. No, but that's my very set routine. So in other words, what I've done is I've exercised myself physically, I've taken care of myself mentally, and I've meditated, so that's taken care of me spiritually. And that has absolutely then frames me up to be able to have a good day.
Yeah, 100%.
And it just, to me, it just changes everything. Now, I got to share something. This little notebook where I write down these 10 things. There are some days that, it's just rough. And I can flip back in that notebook and see what I wrote down 6 months ago, a year ago. Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
It becomes kind of a self-motivator to you.
Yeah. To look what you've achieved and what you've got.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because along with those 10 things, I then write down what are the 2 things I know I'm going to make sure I get done today. You know, the 2 things. It may be a certain customer call or inquiry, something. And again, I'm like, oh, I remember when I was talking to them. Wow, we landed that deal. Wow, or wow, that deal didn't. It's okay. I didn't get it, but I got something else. You know, it's just if you go into the day naked because you have not prepared yourself, it is amazing how your results will suffer. Yeah. Sales is a mental game. It is a mental game. And you've got, but to do that, you've got to, it's physical, spiritual, and mental. You got to work all 3 of those.
Mark, how long have you been doing that routine, committing to that daily routine?
I've been doing this routine now probably about 8 to 10 years.
Wow, yeah. Amazing. Yeah. And I think the point you're making here is if you get your morning right, the rest of your day goes right. And it doesn't matter what the people throw you, you're grounded and you can handle the hard conversations or the rejection because you've invested in yourself.
It is. And along with that, I have what I call the 10 a.m. rule. The 10 a.m. rule. And what it is you set your smartphone to go off at 10 a.m. every morning. That's not the time you get up. Hopefully you're up before that. That's a joke.
We would hope so.
Yeah. But the idea is that you accomplish something significant before 10 a.m. Here's why. If I can accomplish something significant before 10 a.m., I feel good. I feel good. Like this morning, I had a couple of customer calls I needed to make. And right when I got done with breakfast, I made those calls. And I feel good. Because then what happens is it motivates you. It motivates you to do more. Now, conversely, we'll say you get to 10:30, 11, and a customer calls you up and just chews you out, just yells at you, goes berserk, and your day goes to pot. Well, at least you still had a good day.
Yeah.
I see too many salespeople, what they do is they spend the morning just piddling along. They never get to the big stuff. And then as a result, something happens and afternoon, well, I'll just do it tomorrow.
It's a downward spiral. This is a phrase I use, whether it's right or wrong. I said, you run your days don't run you. Same for your weeks, same for your months, same for your years. Because the thing is, show me your diary and I'll show you your life. If I can see someone's bank balance and I can see their time and I can see who they've been brought up by and parenting, I've got a pretty good lens on who you are. And I don't think you need to be a rocket scientist. I love that 10 a.m. rule. Set your alarm by 10 a.m. and know that you've knocked something out of the park. The first thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just rolls. It just then rolls on. You get on to the next thing, the next thing.
Yes. And then from that, you ultimately begin building your calendar, your diary for the day. These are things, and what's the most important thing? Yeah. And you're just in the screen that's the most important thing is what I do first thing. What's the next? Yeah. And it's amazing how your level of productivity will just absolutely increase. But so many salespeople, because salespeople are basically, they're kind of their own bosses.
Yeah. Which is a dangerous thing. It's a dangerous thing sometimes.
It's a dangerous thing. Being busy is not productive.
No,
Being busy is not productive.
Correct.
Productivity is defined by doing one of 2 things. I'm either making money or achieving my goals. That's it.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Period. I mean, I always say, when people say they're busy, I say you're busy on the right stuff or the wrong stuff. I say don't confuse enthusiasm with effectiveness. Everywhere is nowhere. We could go on and on, but people waste so much time, Mark.
And this is where you also have to protect your time. Like I said this morning, I am meeting with. Now I could have filled my day with meetings like that all day long, but I can't because I know there's other things I got to do.
Correct.
So in other words, it really becomes the most important meetings you ever have are the meetings you have with yourself.
100%.
So I have on my calendar every day. There's some blocks of time that no meetings. This is when I got to focus on this. This is when I got to focus on this, because otherwise I won't ever get to this.
Yeah, and it seems so basic, but even now in 2026, I'm still, and I'm sure you find it, I'm still teaching reps how to manage their diary, doing diary discipline and time blocking and prioritization and 1-3-5 rule or rocks, pebbles, sand. It's crazy. Or, power hour, that we call it, that, your derivative of it. But it's structure. Structure is a scaffold to your success. I think routines and rituals, they went all out the window during COVID. And it's like the people that kept some structure. And I think you and I probably baked from the same cloth. I just want to switch gears a little bit, Mark, because I'm going to squeeze you for some more absolute wisdom. This obsession with closing, this obsession that traditional sales, I'm going to be gracious here, but I call them happy clappy cookie cutter, PowerPoint wounders, franchise models, fire hose events, 1 or 2 day, rev up the team, revert to type. We could speak for hours on that, but I want to talk about closing. What's your concept on closing? I've got a view, but I'd love to get yours. Why are we so obsessed with it? And what's going wrong there? I don't want to skew your response.
Yeah, here's the whole thing. Closing should be a natural extension of what's occurred up to that point in time. Because if I have not been able to understand from you what is the critical need, what's the critical problem, why are we even talking? What's the outcome? And also, have I ascertained that this is critical for you to fix now? And what happens if you don't? In other words, if I can answer those questions, I can close the deal. I know I can close the deal. When deals don't close, it's because it's not stupid customer. No. You, the salesperson, haven't done a good enough job of laying out value for the customer to see. Because remember, customers will pay anything if they're going to get their problem taken care of.
Correct.
But too many times I see salespeople come in and they want to race to the close. And then they wonder why they can't close. Because they have not really figured out, A, do they know what the problem is? B, is there an urgency as to why they need to solve it? C, what else have they tried? And D, am I talking to the decision maker?
It's a pretty good list.
I mean, it's amazing. And how I gotta share a quick story that there was a company that had called me. They wanted me to come in, do some work with them, which is great. And they wanted me to come in and I was talking with the vice president of sales, and it was a good sized company. And he wanted me to come in because they were going to face 2 problems in the upcoming year. 1, 2 new competitors coming into their marketplace. Oof. Okay. And he was concerned about a loss of business, but then he was concerned with these 2 new competitors. They're going to probably try to hire away a lot of our salespeople.
Yeah.
I'm really going to lose. So put this plan together, sent it over to him, and he said, this is great. Absolutely. We're going to start like right away. He said, I just got to get legal to sign off on the contract. Fine. Great. So he goes, he takes it to legal. Legal looks at the amount of money, and it's like shocked. So they take it to the CEO, the head guy in the company. Before I know it, the head guy in the company is calling me on the phone. And he goes, Mark, I've got this contract in front of me, and it's for way too much money. How much will you cut it by? Literally, that's how he started the conversation. How much will you cut it by? And my response, I still remember my response to this day. I said, can't cut the price. All we can do is change the value of what you're going to get from it. How much business do you expect to lose from these 2 new competitors? Then I was silent. And it feels like,
Hours.
The only thing you could hear is my heart.
Hold the silence.
The only thing you could hear is my heart going thump, 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 thump. And he goes, that was good. You're hired.
Very good. I think very good as well, because the thing is, what you're teaching everyone there is exactly what you've said, is you've got to sell the outcome, the value of it. And it's so simple sometimes, but just what Mark just listed off there very quickly, and some of you guys are going to have to listen to this again because there's a lot in here. Like, did I identify the problem correctly? Was there a priority and urgency attached to this problem? Can we solve that problem? What's the implication of that problem? And am I kind of talking to the right person to solve that problem? But I think it's an absolute classic. Now, last things, my friend, because I know you've got to head away. I'm going to be really cheeky here. CRM systems. supposedly, I'm doing this with inverted bunny ears with my fingers here for those that can see the video. The savior, the silver bullet, the panacea. What are your thoughts on CRM systems, Mark?
First of all, CRM systems, we're in about the third or fourth generation of them now. And yet there's still probably 50% of all salespeople out there who don't use a CRM because they feel it's a gotcha tool. Oh no, it's just going to report on me. No, it's a get you tool. CRM system used right is a perfect place to capture your notes and so forth. And it really is, because again, it's a tool to help you understand where you need to be spending your time. But more importantly, just keeping notes. You've taken the time to learn this information. Don't sit there and say, oh, I can remember this. No, you're not going to be able to.
Be a professional, be conscientious.
Right. The question I love asking salespeople, I'm interviewing somebody, or somebody calls me up and says, hey, man, I'm really struggling with sales. I go, is your CRM system open right now? And it's amazing. The vast majority of times I hear no. And you know what's interesting? Your CRM system. My CRM system is open right now behind this screen right here. And it's open all the time because I'm constantly entering things, just making sure, and it keeps me on track. Yep. And the best CRM system is one that links to your email system. So it just rolls right over and captures all of your phone stuff. Again, I'm not asking for complicated systems. I'm just asking that it holds the information so that when I decide to pick up the phone and call you or send you an email or message you, I've got insights that are relevant.
I can easily find it. Exactly. Because I think it's sold often on the benefit to the business, and it's then perceived as a sales surveillance tool, or do you say a gotcha tool, Mark? Absolutely. Now, last things. Quick rapid fire here, if we could, sir. Best interview question, best sales recruitment interview question for a rep. What's one of your favorites?
Sure. Tell me how you dealt with a problem before. Walk me through.
Yeah.
And
cool.
I just want to have them explain, first of all, what the problem is, and then just say, how did you fix it, or what were the steps on it? Yeah.
Awesome. If you were then helping one of your businesses and your clients recruit a manager or a sales leader, what would be one of your best questions for them?
I'm going to ask, give me the 5 things that you think a great sales leader should do every day. Okay. But before I get to that, I ask them, hey, what's a good day look like for you? See, so I get them to say, what's a good day for them? Then I sit there and say, what are the 5 things that you think a good sale?
Do they line, and are they congruent?
And do they line up? And and so the key is you don't ask those back to back.
and then you wish you say, oh, can you now show me your diary? That would be
right. In other words, you ask them one, and then you kind of roll through the interview, and then towards the end, and you go, wait, hold it. Yeah. These don't line up.
Yeah. Beautiful. Now, I've asked you for a lot of advice on behalf of the listeners. I always ask guests this one question at the end of these very gracious, very, very, very grateful conversations. What's the best piece of sales advice you've ever been given? If you could only leave one piece of sales advice to the listeners, what would it be and why?
Follow up, follow up, follow up. The sale is made in the follow up. It's just that simple.
So easy for you to answer.
We do not. Every conversation should lead to the next conversation.
I love it. I love it. I love that. It's just so. I've been smiling and beaming throughout because you're just absolutely on point. I think also thoughtful follow-ups. That's a TH, by the way.
Yeah. It's not thoughtful. Checking in. It's not checking in. Yeah, checking in is what you do at a hotel.
Just following up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now, Mark, talk to me about this wonderful new book. You've already got amazing best-selling books. He's holding. What's it called and what's it all about?
Integrity First Selling. Now, first of all, let's stop the bus right here.
Please.
It's a shame we even have to talk about integrity.
Of course.
Because it should be like air and water, just out there. Yeah. But unfortunately, there's a lot of garbage out there.
Yes, there is.
We do need to talk about integrity. Here's what I found. When you sell with integrity means you're doing what you say you're going to do. You're putting the customer first, and you honor and you respect their time, their desires. You will attract customers who have integrity. And you know what? Integrity-centered people actually pay more money. They see value. Because the person who wants to just kind of, so to speak, lowball you on price and cut corners and bug you, they don't want to deal with people like you. They're going to go to other people. So when you sell with integrity, you attract customers who have integrity. And if you think about it, we have this AI thing out there. Wow, AI. Oh, man. Actually, AI does not stand for artificial intelligence. It stands for authentic integrity. I'll let your audience chew on that one. But here's what I find. There's so much fake stuff out there. There's so much fake stuff out there. So much noise out there. And people are just customers are exhausted. Customers are tired. They've had so much thrown at them for so long. They just can't handle it anymore.
Yeah.
That's the yin. Integrity is the yang. It's the relationship. The relationship is more important than ever. That's the essence of what integrity first selling. It's about creating authentic relationships that customers value and appreciate. This is why I can say that I don't close a deal. I open a relationship. I open a relationship. That's how you wind up getting the referrals, like we were talking about earlier, the referrals, the repeat business, etc. When you do things right with people, it's amazing. The business takes care of itself.
Ah, Mark, what a pleasure. I've just been beaming throughout because you almost predicted all my questions. And of course, I guess we have a conversation, it's like a fireside chat. But your energy's great. You've got so much wisdom, so much knowledge. I'm going to make you a big fat head here, but what a generous fellow you are. Thank you so much for coming on the show, sharing stuff. Best place for people to contact Mark Hunter. Where do they get hold of you? Yes,
thesaleshunter.com. Hunter's my real last name. I did not change it. So, you might as well just, put the domain name. So anyway, it's thesaleshunter.com. And of course, Integrity First Selling is available on Amazon sites in New Zealand, Australia, the world over. Yeah. It's there.
We'll get links to all your brilliant books. Thank you so much for your generosity, Mark. I've got a feeling that we might have another conversation. There might be some opportunities. It's funny how the world works, small that is. And I know how respected and revered and esteemed you are. Your name comes up in conversation all the time with all the other great guys and girls that we've had on this show. So I'm absolutely delighted and privileged to have you on the show. You've been brilliant.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.